Gary said Gary was sick.
Oh, well, thank you very much for 6 people.
All right, we'll call to order tonight's city council meeting here on this Tuesday, November 15th, a little bit after 6 p.m. and ask that we would all rise. And I will lead us in the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, and thank you once again for this opportunity to come together as a community here tonight at this city council meeting. We pray that all the decisions that we would make tonight would be in your will, and we also, of course, always pray for the health and welfare of the community. We're very thankful for all of our first responders and those people who help us in our times of need, those of which who we're going to recognize tonight, especially in their families. We thank them for being here. Please keep all our troops overseas safe tonight as they protect our freedoms. We pray all these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Deputy Clerk Ridley, would you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Alderman Hughes. Here. Alderman Curry-Witzman. Alderman Campos. Here. Alderman Austin.
Here.
Alderman Brown. Alderman Pittman.
Here.
Alderman Urbis. Alderman McComb. Alderman Bastian.
Here.
Alderman Gladden.
Here.
Mayor Smith.
Here. All right, thank you to everyone for being with us this evening. The first thing that we have on our agenda tonight is the presentation of a commendation to firefighter Alexander. And at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Fire Chief Steve McBride to share a few words and to lead this presentation.
Bobby, come on up. While Bobby comes up, I received a letter, the mayor and I received a letter from Alderman Urbis about an incident that he observed back on the 22nd of October. I'll read a little bit from that letter. I would like firefighter Bobby Alexander to be considered for some type of award. I was at Cindy B's this morning having breakfast when a woman who was sitting at the back of the restaurant began having a seizure. The staff yelled and ran to the woman. Firefighter Alexander was in the restaurant picking up food. In less than 30 seconds, he was attending to the woman without benefit of any of the medical equipment that we carry. The seizure continued for about 2 minutes. Another firefighter arrived to assist, and the ambulance arrived about 10 minutes later to find the situation resolved. I'm sure that our police and fire officers do this on a daily basis, but to witness it as a chance encounter was something special, and made me proud to have such well-trained and dedicated personnel. Just imagine if we only had a volunteer fire department. Not a good thing. Signed, John Urbis. At his recommendation and per our department policy, tonight we're going to present to firefighter Robert Alexander a certificate of commendation in recognition and highest praise for your quick response to a citizen having a seizure on October 22nd, 2022. Your alertness and immediate action brought comfort to the afflicted person and to citizens who witnessed your actions. Furthermore, your selfless and commendable performance brings credit upon yourself and the entire fire department, signed by the mayor and myself. You do fantastic work. Everybody shows up. Bobby is one of the ones that's always there and always willing to jump in and go. So,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Bobby, we failed to give you an opportunity to give a speech.
Comment and appreciate the confidence that you've given us. Thank you.
Thank you. And to those of you who are here for the presentation of the commendation, we obviously don't expect you to stick around for the rest of the meeting.
Sure we do.
So they're going. Don't feel as if you're offending us.
See ya.
Well, how's that? Let us go.
Cleared out.
No.
out the whole.
Oh, I'm so glad he had his family.
I know how we rate in terms of entertainment.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
What do we have to do to run the rest of them out?
Right, well, I don't know, I guess give them a commendation. All right, well, we'll get into our regular items this evening. First up is the consideration of minutes from October the 25th, 2022. Entertain any questions on the minutes at this time. A motion to approve the minutes.
so moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the accounts payable, 9 and 510 for our consideration tonight. Entertain any questions on bills.
Chief's not here anymore.
Is there a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That'll take us to our regular committee and commission reports. Up first, we have budget and finance chaired by W.J. Pittman.
Thank you, Mayor. We have no items under old business or new business. We have financial statements prepared by Scott Hammond, the budget officer. We have one in our packet. He gave us an additional report tonight at the meeting. Scott?
So the report that was in your packet, is the sales tax report. So for November, our combined sales and home rule tax, $366,045.
I can't complain about
That
that.
was one of the largest single months we've had since we've been keeping score. So very, very nice month, and obviously we're going to exceed last year 1 month ago. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how much. So that's a very, very positive development. The report that I brought tonight, and I don't have a lot of reports tonight because we're just knee-deep in all the budget meetings and stuff with the department heads and that kind of thing. So that's been an all-consuming thing for the better part of the week. But I do have a balance sheet as of September 30th, which I try to give you these reports 3 or 4 times a year. So at the end of September, citywide city assets were $26,771,000. Our total booked debts, $12,505,000, and our equities were $14,265,000. So pretty strong position there. You can see that across the top and across the right side is where you see the different categories: cash, CDs, various things. Including restricted assets and all the equipment and such. The next time I report this, you will see a reduction in the note payable for water sewer because this is the month when we pay the wastewater treatment plant loan, semi-annual payment, and also the Walnut Street water line. Those are at the same time. So that should be roughly $300,000 or $400,000 less. So just a snapshot of where we were on that day, basically. So, any questions on those 2 reports?
Doesn't look like it. No questions. Thank you, Scott. Next item, I guess I'm going to discuss this. I probably have to abstain on that one, so we don't have enough to pass
Approval.
the approval.
You mean to renew it? But we get charged more if we go past the date. No, but, never mind.
Richard, do you feel as if of course, WJ, it's not really the attorney's decision, it's whatever you're comfortable with.
I mean, I would just assume it's no harm, no foul to move it to the next meeting. With it being a 0 balance, it's not like it's
When does it expire?
December 12th.
yeah, December 12th. So
Oh, okay, we'll still have one more meeting.
Next meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Let's still get it done in time.
Yeah.
So let's just move that next item to the next agenda. So is there any public comment under budget and finance? Hearing none, we can move out of budget.
All right, that takes us to Building and Grounds, chaired by John Urbis. His absence, I'll handle these. I have no old business. Under new business, we have consideration of purchase of property from Jackson County trustee, but Blake, we could not move on this.
We could not because for purchasing real estate, it requires a vote of 2/3 of the city council. We only have 6 here, we take a vote of 7 in order to approve it.
One of the things that I can just give informationally is that this particular property is one that is located across the street from the Zion Church on South 3rd Street, I think it is. Anyway, it is a property that I believe that they have been mowing already anyway for quite some time. And so they are ready to purchase the property. And so that's sort of what that's all about. But we can hold that until our next meeting as well. The discussion regarding the Country Club Road residential development, I only had left on the agenda because there was some communication about the developer potentially coming to this meeting, but didn't come to fruition, scheduling conflicts, but he hopes to come to a future meeting, so I'll probably pull that from the agenda until such time as so that's everything we can do there. Is there any public comment on building and grounds? Hearing none, we'll come out of building and grounds and go to community relations, chaired by Mr. Mike Austin.
Thank you, Mayor. Under community relations, under old business, we have none, and under new business, we have a presentation by Linda Harold on the Historic Preservation Commission update.
It's going to be a real short one.
Okay?
Darn.
This is just kind of our yearly report about what we've been doing. We have given out 3 of the Restoration Heroes this year, the house on South 21st and the Walker property and the Plaza Tire. So we're on schedule to do that every quarter, and that seems to be going real well. The people are very happy with it. And I had a lot of comments, oh, I saw the sign, so I think it's doing what it's supposed to do. The other thing, we are still working on the Longfellow Historic District. That's going very slowly. We are not, for the people who live in that area, either yays or nays. So we've kind of regrouped, but we have decided that we aren't going to not do that, not continue with it. We're going to chip away at it and see if we can continue with that. We are also going to look into doing a national historic district, as Rachel has done with the downtown. And Mike Jones has talked to the people in Springfield. They've got their new grants coming out in January, so we're going to apply for one of those and get rolling on that. So that's kind of where we are. And we want to tell you that we do appreciate your support too.
Thank you. With that, we'll move into consideration of request for a 5K by Murphysboro Main Street on December 10th. You have a form in your packet for the application for the 5K run walk, and then on the back of it, it shows, pardon me, actually shows the route that she's wanting. I've talked with Jamie. She is also wanting a she had a funeral yesterday. She was at the St. Louis Hospital today. She will be at with Sandra tomorrow to fill out the street closure form for Walnut to Spruce on the east side of the depot, and that will come at our next meeting.
This is going to be a cold run.
So what she is asking is for us to request permission for her to host a 5K walk, and you'll see that she actually has 2 police officers there that she's requesting as well.
All right, looks like a good event to me.
So I'd like to make a motion to.
Okay, we have a motion for approval for the 5K run walk. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Also today, Mike Bastian called me, and Mike, you want to speak on
I can, it's real short. Kathy Pearson reached out to me and asked me if the city would be willing to set up a kids' craft tent again at the tree lighting ceremony on December the 2nd. I went ahead and took it upon myself and committed to it. I did speak with the mayor and Sandra today. We have stuff left over from last year, and so I'm gonna get with Sandra. We'll get everything together. If anybody wants to help, it's December the 2nd. They could be there around 5 o'clock to help set up, and it starts at 5:30. So,
It's a great event.
Are we doing that reindeer stuff
yeah,
again?
yeah, and we still have stuff left from last
Okay.
year. So, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Is there any public comments? If not, Mayor, we can move out of community relations.
Thank you. That takes us to public improvement, chaired by Mike Bastian. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. We have nothing listed under old business or nothing listed under new business. Any public comment? No public comment. We can close public improvement and move into public works, Mayor.
All right, that takes us to public. Gary McComb, we have no old business. Under new business, we have consideration of quotes for cinder spreaders. Mr. Mills?
Yeah, I reached out to Woody Supply and asked him if we could get a price on the spreader for us doing the installation, and basically that takes $550 off of it, so the price would be $98.28.
Okay. $9,828.
And that's what, with us installing. Okay. We need a motion?
We were carrying that to next budget year.
I've asked for that in my budget. I would just like to get an approval on it because, you know, they were looking 4 to 6 months on lead time to get it.
Okay.
We wait until,
Will that cost still be the same after the first of the year, as far as we know?
as long as we order it now.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
It should honor
okay.
the price, yes.
Okay.
But it will, there's no chance it'll be here in this fiscal anyway,
I make
right?
that motion. Do we accept the bid for $98.28?
Second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Up next, we have consideration of quotes for permanent structure for salt storage.
Still working on that. I have spoke with, there's basically only one company that makes this type of unit that everybody's using. He'd had some problems getting in touch with me. He said he was calling, he was getting code office, and for some reason I wasn't getting a voicemail from him. So I did make contact with him today again, and he's gonna get back with me in 3 to 5 days with some sort of a plan, and then we'll go from there. So
Okay.
maybe the next council meeting I'll have more information. Hopefully.
Thank you.
Very good. Up next, we have the consideration of the 2023 oil and chip program. Am I looking to Harold Shepherd for this?
I know I talked to Darren today. I think we're gonna try to, leave the northwest, section of town, so we'll put some numbers together on that. And I don't know if it's like what we did last year. I think somebody went around into whatever quadrant it was picked and left the streets or alleys that didn't need any work, and then added some other, the worst ones in other quadrants. So we'll put something together and get it before the council, and then we can go from there. I mean, earlier, we try to do this earlier and earlier every year.
Mhm.
It just never seems to work out, but it seems that way in every town, so.
So is the question on the agenda simply to reaffirm that we are going to go forward and continue with the quadrant approach?
That's why I was looking for that approval. That way, if you do say yes, then over the winter, if we have nice days, we can go ahead and start trimming the alleys in these areas. And, we won't have to deal with so many leaves on the trees, and we'll just be way ahead of the game.
Yeah, I think, the
That's good.
council has pretty well said, as we've debated this through, that this is what we want to do for the coming, 2-3 years, so we can get all these quadrants.
Do you feel like the way we did it last year with the taking out the alleys that didn't necessarily need it and being able to do those in a different quadrant worked out well?
And I chose the northwest. It hasn't been done in some time, but the mayor had reached out to me one time about Tire Grove Cemetery needing it. That's all in that area, so it
Mhm.
would
Right.
work out that, doing it that way.
Okay.
So move.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to continue with the approach to the oil and chip program as the previous year. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Up next, we have the consideration of change order number 1 for the Shoemaker Drive overlay project on the assuming this is a deduct about 50,000.
I bet so.
Not quite that much.
Okay.
It is a deduct, though. Deduct, E.T. Simons finished that little patch job. There was a deduct of $2,684.92 based on as-built quantities installed, and according to the pay estimate for this project was $52,932.89. That is complete.
52,932 is after the change.
Yes, that's correct.
And how much was it that we got from the railroad?
40?
40-something.
44.
44, okay. So another 10,000, basically. It's not
We
bad.
built it when we got the money, it would have cost us 44,000.
Yeah, really.
You can't use MXD on it because we did not go through that type of bidding process.
We can't use motor fuel.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I think it's wonderful that there's a deduct on it. I never have seen that in the 12 years I've been on. On a change order. We'll take it. I'm kidding.
Do we need 2 separate motions?
It's
for
an
the
old
change?
brain, I just don't remember.
all right. Do we have a motion to accept change order number 1?
So moved.
Sure. Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then we also need a motion on the consideration of pay estimate number 1, the final for the Shoemaker Drive overlay project.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, is there any public comment on Public Works? That takes us to Public Safety, chaired by Russell Brown. We have no old business. Under new business, we have consideration of street alley closure request from Ameren AECom and 06 Environmental. Of course, they presented at our last meeting. We have in our packet a highlighting of the area that they wish to, that they're going to be working on and some closures there. So do we have any other reason to debate the matter?
I just have one question. I had asked before if all of those people had been contacted, and they said they either were going to do it but I still would like to know if they've been contacted.
I don't know if they have been or not. All I know is, of course, the assurances that you heard.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, and I have no reason to doubt that, actually.
Yes.
I went with Ameren, last week. We went to 3 of the houses and did a home inspection with them. Basically, they went around and videoed the house to show any structural damage, any interior damage for do pre and post project.
Oh, that's nice.
I think they were having trouble getting hold of one of the residents, and I got a new phone number for them, and I haven't actually got word that they got in contact with them.
But the other ones have been notified, and you have pre-pictures.
Right.
That's
And I
good.
got an email today from George, who spoke at the last meeting. The project's probably going to be pushed back to the end of December, beginning of January. They're supposed to start December 3rd is what their plan was. They're having some contractors and that sort of thing, issues trying to get going on the project, so it's
Doesn't
likely to be
surprise me.
more at the first of the year start. So,
Okay.
I know I did speak with Start was my main concern. The house, the far side that they entrance and exit from there, they're going to work with them as well as possibly the house that we demolished there in the corner, maybe making them a parking lot or whatever they need to help getting in and out.
And that's a start house?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
But they've been, basically whatever needs done, they'll do.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes.
In looking at this, where an access road is going to be built so that person can enter from the back, I assume that they are constructing that and covering all that.
Handicap accessible ramp, there
Yeah.
might be a gravel parking lot with a concrete ramp to get to their entrance.
Okay, but it's all at their expense, right?
I also did photograph the route of travel as well for this project. I segmented photos from Walnut Street up 6th Street
out of 127, so we have photographic proof of what the roads looked like before and after the project, so we'll have some sort of bearing on that once it's completed.
Thank you.
Yes, that is wonderful.
Mayor, is this not where the two roads merge?
Not sure if I understand.
Well, down by the Taco Bell and all that, don't the two roads merge right there beside that area?
Yeah, that's 6th Street exit.
Yeah.
Right where on Walnut where they converge there. They have been in contact with IDOT as well. They're gonna have signage and barriers put up to start to merge the traffic actually farther to the east there.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want the merger to start right there where all the
Where all
issue was
the
at.
action is.
Yeah.
To get people to slow down and
Yeah.
merge over sooner, more towards like Hardee's and.
Oh, that would be
One
good.
Stop, and that's-
Yeah.
Instead of up there by
Thank you.
Russell's house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I was asking that.
that's good.
Yeah. Forever. So we need a motion?
I think they were asking for like, I'm thinking 18 months.
It's a long time.
Oh, God.
It's not like, we talked today, it's not like an event, for a concert or something for one night. It's gonna be a lengthy project.
Yeah, it will be.
And I don't believe trucks will be there for 18 months, but that's what they're requesting for the closure, so.
Okay.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Is there a motion to approve the
So
request
moved.
for the closure?
Are they closing, then this will be cleared? The alley obviously will be closed. And then is that portion of 6th Street, is that what the other request?
Yeah, up until where it makes the
Little
lap
curve
there,
at John.
Right,
Sixth
on
and
7th,
Seventh.
where it goes to North Street,
Yep.
from Walnut to North.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much essentially been closed down for the last several
Yeah,
months
it-
with their other stuff up.
Yeah.
Basically, the main reason for the 6th Street closure is they said that the truck's there, but the one house that's behind the one that we're getting ready to tear down, that's
Yeah.
been burned down, they park on 6th Street a lot right there.
Right.
And they kind of wanted something to have on paper that says it's closed, so that if they were to park there, they can, tell them that they have to relocate the vehicles. I don't know if they're heavily traveled road, as well.
Yeah.
And Charlie, I'm sure that the 515 Walnut and the 601, they both have agreements that allow the vibration monitor to be placed on their
Yes,
properties?
Yeah, I typed up a agreement with them, and they also had one, and to put those on it's actually on the right of way, so it was more of an agreement from the city, not from the owners.
Oh, okay.
Where Taco Bell, they were gonna place one there as well, because when they drive the sheep piling, but that was actually on their property, but I believe that was the only one that they had,
Okay,
they needed that from.
yeah, thank you. That's all we got.
All right, is there a motion to approve the closure request from Ameren?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Up next, we have consideration of a request for a four-way stop at 21st and Wall Street.
Okay.
Sandra, this came in from a resident,
Bill Meglin.
Bill Meglin. I presume that the request is, to slow down traffic. Most of them are. It is right there at the, sort of the intersection, which would be behind the backstop for the baseball field at Longfellow Park. Alderman McComb wanted me to remind everyone that he would
Mayor?
if he were here, yes.
Okay. Now, there's already stop signs on north-south, correct?
Correct.
So, do we have any idea why he's making this request?
It would just be east and west.
I
Yeah,
believe he's just observed, near miss traffic situations and believes that would make it a more safe intersection.
Do you think this is something that we could have Chief look up and see if there's been accidents there, the number of accidents in the last 12 months, let's say, and maybe he could watch it, or some of his patrolmen could watch it for a bit, just as, I mean, I'm not a big fan of more stop signs either, but, I mean, if we need it, we need it, but I think we ought to really look at it before we decide to put yet another 2 stop
I
signs.
would like to know that information too, but I will tell you, as living there for 26
I'm gonna
years.
say, you know more about it than I
There's
would.
a lot of traffic, and one of these days, somebody's gonna get ran over down at that intersection. Do they need it? I don't know. Is it gonna
Yeah,
prevent
and I
the
don't
kid from
either.
getting ran over? I don't know. But before we're quick to say we don't need it,
That's why I don't want to vote for
Yeah.
or against until we have some more information
and I'm
about
not saying
it.
I'm against the report,
Yeah,
I
I-
don't know.
I'm
And
just
like,
gonna tell
I've
you-
watched it, they do go by there fast, but if you obey the stop sign going north and south, you're not gonna get hit.
I'm gonna tell you something. We fought for years for a stop sign on 16th Street. They can start now.
And they had a wreck the week they put it up too, didn't they? They had a wreck the week they put that one up too, didn't they? It was on Facebook, somebody ran it.
Oh, really? That, it has been awesome, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. But it's working, it's slowing people down.
It is slowing the traffic.
But anyway, if we could ask the chief
I'd
to do
just like
that
to have more
and come back
information.
with it and keep it on the
can
agenda.
start the
And I would like to hear
countdown
from, Mr. Meglin what he has observed. I mean, he lives right there.
He was invited to
Down
attend.
the other end.
He
Well,
was
mid
invited.
the block, but he travels
Is
that
that
all the
Bill?
time. He lives closer
Did you
than
say
you and
Bill?
I do.
He was invited and
And I'll
decided not to.
give him credit for that, but I think he should have come if he wanted it.
Well, we will ask the chief to look at the information and then bring it back to our next meeting. We can consider it further at that time.
And I'd like to talk to him too as well.
Okay,
Thank you, Mayor.
sure thing. Is there on public safety? Hearing none, we'll go on.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote it down, I was looking at the place. Mayor, but I know that on 20th and Wall, we have the crosswalk from DOT.
20th and Wall.
Yeah,
Walnut.
oh, Walnut, yeah.
Oh,
Walnut,
okay.
I'm sorry, yeah, I forgot the nut part.
Yeah, yeah, the, like safe routes to school, the additional.
Yes.
Mhm.
That thing doesn't have any light, any signaling. We have the painting, we have the signs, but we need a light.
It doesn't flash?
It does not
Is it
flash.
button operated?
Huh?
Probably button operated, so nobody.
I have seen the kids go to that and there is nothing going on.
Maybe they don't push the button.
Well, then, they're kids, so we need to think for them.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know
the
if
thing,
it's
I
push
have,
button.
I have seen a lot of near ones.
Clarification real quick, 21st in Walnut.
Yeah.
It's
20th.
21st.
Yeah, yeah.
21st.
Thank God you knew what I was talking about, because I say Wall, and it was Walnut, and it was 20, and it's 21st, but
20th
that
and Wall, that's
corner,
my corner.
that corner, it
Yeah.
it
It's down by
is,
Wiffle Boys, right?
by Wiffle
Yes.
Boys, yes. The kids just try and there is nothing to alert the drivers that there is a must thing, like it happened when you go on Picnicville or so. So we need some sort of alert. At
It'd
least
be
when
nice
the
if it
school
could
is
come
in
on a
session.
timer that could be on like from 2:30 until 4:30 or
It's a
something like that.
solar- It's a solar unit, and we had some problems when we put that in, I know Darren, we.
I don't know
put
that.
that high.
Yeah, I am with you. I have never
It's
think,
it's supposed to blink periodically during certain times of the day.
Yeah, that's what I wondered if it
how
would.
does state pay on
Is it
electric bill?
is it a button? I don't know, I've never looked at, is it a button? You have to push a button like
I
a
don't
crosswalk?
think it is.
Yeah.
Just a timer.
So I think it just comes
Yeah.
on at certain, during.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
Honestly, I
IDOT
go by
needs
it a
to be
million times a day,
notified
I've
if it's
never
not
seen it
working.
flashing either,
Yes.
so, I don't know.
Well, as I'm the interim chairman of public safety, I will drive there tomorrow morning after I drop off the kids, and I will see if it is button operated or if it's what the deal is, and then I'll.
But don't go at 10 till 8 because it's not flashing. I can
The
guarantee
light
you.
is not flashing, and I have seen that when I have gone to the middle school to pick up my granddaughter sometimes, and the kids, it is like, it's non-existent for them to have in that catwalk. If
Well,
nothing
yeah,
is-
certainly the sign is supposed to have some additional lighting features to it, and if they're not functioning, they need to be, because,
Not at all.
I mean, that's, just a part of the sign's supposed to do.
Thank you.
We will look into it.
Thank you.
That takes us, is there any other public comment or comment otherwise on public safety? All right, we'll go to Personnel Chair by Ms. Barbara Hughes.
Thank you, Mayor. There is no old business right now, and no new business, and unless there's public comment on personnel, I think we can get out of here.
All right, thank you, Barb. That takes us to the mayor's report. The website, the city website, is currently being operated by a company called Revise. They've handled it now for the last 3 or 4 years, and they are, I can't remember based out of where, it's certainly not local. And we have Idea Creative Marketing, which invested a significant amount of money in their location right downtown on Walnut Street across from Smizer Plaza. And so our Revise agreement was, they're out of Troy, Michigan. And our Revise agreement is nearing expiration, or maybe has already expired. And I wanted to get a quote from our local website developer. And so they did give us a quote, and it is for a total overhaul of the website, and it's for $4,363.20. Our renewal with Revise, which is part of our the budgeted money anyway, was what, Sandra?
Overall, for all the years,
Yeah,
over $15,000.
would have been over $15,000.
For their whole contract?
Yeah, over the course of those years.
Is this 4363 over just 1 year?
That is for the overhaul and
Setup?
and then the annual fees on it would be somewhere in the neighborhood of around $350 to $400. And then if we need any updates, those updates would be done at a hourly rate of $50 an hour. But it's not as if we have a large number of updates. And Whitney Injuries, in my conversation with her today, said that most of the time those sorts of updates only take half an hour. So I think there'd be significant savings over the long haul. We'd be spending our money with the local group.
It's just local means.
No reason, I don't think, not to go in that direction.
Is that one expired or about to expire? Do you know yet?
I will, you have the date right there by chance. Well, frankly, I think it may have expired in March of this year, and they have been harassing me for the last 6 months, wanting to know when I'm going to renew.
Okay.
And
Okay.
No, we're not.
saying,
I'm
no.
thrilled to see someone locally take care of it. I
Yeah.
think that we need to support that as much as possible.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And with savings, it's even better.
So is there a motion to move forward with that?
I will make that motion, Mayor. I think we should keep it local, and I've worked with them, and they're good to work with.
Yeah.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that takes us to council member requests. I'll go to Ms. Hughes.
I have nothing, thank you.
Ms. Campos?
Oh, nothing. Do we have a meeting on Thursday, this Thursday?
Yes.
We do not. I know that Scott, Sandra, and the rest of the department heads have been working hard to get some budget things together, but I think we need to delay that
Okay.
so that we can have a productive meeting.
Okay, then happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes.
Amen. I have an, excuse me, let me get to the council member requests. Mr. Austin?
No, Mayor, I have nothing, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Ripley?
Nothing.
Mr. Pittman?
Nothing.
Mr. Baster? Mr. Glad?
I have a question about our contacts with the Rubel. I'm looking forward right now to next spring's rainy season, and we have made no progress whatsoever in trying to prevent the buildup of water there and the flooding and everything that goes on. And I'm just wondering if we're doing anything, making any progress. Is there something else we need to do?
Well, it's been my hope that the 7th Street improvements with the retention pond there would help to alleviate that problem, because a lot of the water that has been being funneled there, I believe, Harold, would be mitigated by the efforts at 7th Street. Because honestly, the efforts with the railroad, with easements, Mr. Rubel, that's just been a really difficult series of circumstances. And so I don't know how else to say it other than there just really hasn't been much action on that.
Okay, well, I need to ask this question, realizing where those 7th Street retention ponds are, and the flow of the water from there down has no effect on the water that's coming up behind these homes and flooding their yards from the south.
Well, I maybe misunderstand the situation then, because, you know, it was my understanding, and again, Dan, I could be wrong, that those retention ponds would help to change the way that water was moving through these channels and out of town, such that we wouldn't see quite the depth in that area.
Harold?
Well, I mean, there's 2 retention basins on 7th Street, one at Ball's property and one at the old brewery property. Those are intended to slow, like the mayor says, slow the water getting to that point there by 1 hot cookie and then on school ground. So what's happening a lot right now, obviously, is that water gets there so fast that it backs up all through that area. And that's when it goes into the houses, the yards, things like that. So the intent is, I mean, it's not gonna solve all the problems just because there's some other inherent problems there with the pipe underneath the railroad track being 2 feet high. That's obviously gonna create 2-foot level of water in those ditches all the time. So, you know, but it will help certainly.
Okay. No, I'm just realizing that rainy season's coming and.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, this affects.
Well, and I never want the Roberta Drive situation to pop up, but my concern is that they're on the west side of that abandoned railroad track, which is where 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd Street, all of that runs underneath there and actually runs in front of the high school. And that's where the majority of the problem has always been.
That comes there,
From.
meets everything else right there.
Right, so even though there's been retention ponds on the east side, there's been nothing done on the west side. So any kind of volume of the rain, of course, haven't had any in so long, I don't even remember what it is. But I would be concerned about that school getting shut down again, because there's been nothing happening on that west side. And I still, to this date, I don't understand why we take all that water on the west side of the high school and move it all the way around to the front of it. Why it can't just find some way on the back side of it and just eliminate that entire problem?
There's been talk over the years of redirecting that to the west.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful.
But the biggest issue that we face, Harold, and you know this, is there where that abandoned railroad track is, that goes all the way in front of the high school. That's a natural waterway.
Yeah.
So you have very limited things that you can do with that. But I feel like that if anything's going to occur at all, it has to happen back over there on the 21st, 22nd Street, where that water funnels down and goes in front of the building.
Or put in bigger pipes to get it underneath the railroad bed.
Yeah.
That's been the plan all along.
Yeah.
We, not only with, the rural property, but every property owner we're trying to deal with out there has been slapping us in the face. So, it's just.
Well, weren't we looking for some kind of eminent domain at one point in that area?
We had considered that, and as the permitting and the processes and the things built up, we were just looking at the various costs involved and
Yeah.
the uncooperative nature of the folks that we were having to deal with to complete the project. I mean, ultimately,
It was gonna cost more than what we could afford, and was it worth it? So,
that's the question.
yeah, I don't know.
And
Well, I know that Brian has been very gracious in writing grants and we're at a point where now we're actually looking to try to find ways to show loss of income, correct?
Yeah, it's included as part of the county's hazard mitigation plan that's being revised and in the process of being sent to the state. That project was one that's specifically mentioned in that plan. What that does is that opens the door for us to apply for federal money when hazard mitigation money would be made available by FEMA. The problem with this project is similar to what we ran into with the road to the sewer plant. We have to be able to show that there is a cost savings by making these improvements. And when we had the grant for the road to the sewer plant, we couldn't show a loss of dollars to damages to that road when it would flood. They wouldn't look at the damages that might happen if we couldn't get to the sewer plant. They simply wanted to see past
What it did to the
expenses for
road.
damage to the road. So we would be in a similar situation with this one. We'd have to show past damages to either homes or businesses or the school as a result of flooding. And really, our damage, we may have some homes that have gotten water in them in the past, but our loss that we're trying to mitigate is the, access to and from the school and to and from those residences.
Right. And if the school would ever get shut down for a day, then you could actually say that that's funding that you've lost for that particular day. But that hasn't happened in probably 2 years anyway that I know of.
So the opportunity might be there for us to apply for a grant, but the chances of it getting funded would not be real great.
Right.
I don't know that the cost of maintenance of the drainage would count as a cost or not. I know at one point we did have hired a contractor to go through there and scrape the drainage basin to try to, make sure that the silt hadn't, caused the elevations to be even further.
Didn't we rent an excavator for several months?
We did.
And within a couple of weeks, the beavers had another dam there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and when the time ran out, that they were actually working in that ditch, then the beavers came back and built up the dam.
within weeks.
So,
Yep.
yeah, so I appreciate Brian's work that he's done on the project
Yeah.
because he's put in a lot of time, and I appreciate Don bringing that back up because as I've addressed the council many times before, it's not an issue, folks, of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen, because it's going to happen eventually. That somebody's going to get hurt when them streets are, them kids are going to be trapped in that school building, and they're going to try to get out, and something's going to happen. So,
It's a lake.
And there is funding through EPA, the loan program, same thing you've been in with water and sewer, but I think the sewer, Murphysboro probably qualifies for 45% loan forgiveness, I think, or maybe even 60. But that would cover construction, purchase of property, anything like that, could be included in that. But as we all know, it's a long drawn out process.
Especially if
today,
you-
4 years, 5 years down the road.
I've waited 39 years for it, so.
That's funny.
Longer.
More than we do.
But thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you, Mr. Gladden. That'll take me to department head requests. Ms. Ripley?
Nothing.
Okay, I get to ask you twice. Attorney Blake?
Yes, one item. I was contacted last week by a representative of the now owner of the former Jackson County Nursing Home and Rehab building.
Okay.
He informed me that they did have a contractor there doing cleanup work. He emailed me a couple before and after photos, which I could see that some work had been done, that had been done. He indicated they were also going to hire a contractor to work on problems with the gutters, some broken windows, the door to the building that is not secure. I brought to his attention the issue that both Chief McBride and Tim have brought up regarding the filled water line, the leak issue, having to have the meter turned off and no service to the fire hydrant serving that building. He I then gave him Tim's number to contact to give further details of better explanation than I could give of what that issue is. I received an email back from him indicating he would reach out to Tim. I don't know if he has yet. I also gave him Charlie's name to contact Charlie regarding any further issues that may be from a code enforcement standpoint.
He did reach out, left me a message, and I called him. We're playing a little bit of phone tag, so hopefully I'll get tomorrow.
That, my report on what I've heard so far from contact I've made through their attorney.
Well, I'm glad to hear that they're doing something.
Yeah, yeah, it's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you forward me the emails that they've sent you with the photos of the before and after work? Thank you. Mr. Evans?
I have nothing, thank you.
Chief McBride? Mr. Manwaring? Mr. Sheffer? Ms. Lally? Lee?
I did reach out to a company of equipment that's got their 24 factor, and he did tell me that our truck is actually at the chassis shop now. Like they go through the entire frame, engine, transmission, all the wiring and stuff like that, and then we'll come back to their factory and they'll work on the actual factor portion of the truck and we'll do that. So our truck is actually, in motion.
Great.
He didn't give a deadline or a time that it might be finished, but it is in motion.
Good.
Good.
It'll get here eventually.
Right.
Mr. Iser?
I'd like to speak on behalf of Hometown Christmas and Ashley Runge, to say thank you to the city for the Christmas tree lights being put up by Darren and his crew. We also sank 4 pillars out there for the Christmas tree, which was on my hit list for the last 4 or 5 years. 2 years ago, we lost the tree. We came into town, the tree was tipped over, and it was a giant disaster. And there's about 2 inches of dirt on that lot, and the rest is asphalt. So anything you basically put into the ground, it would hold the tree and a giant wind and so forth and so on. So now there's actual anchors in the ground with caps that can be moved over, and hopefully don't have to worry about the tree falling down ever again. So
That's good.
say thank you for all that.
Nothing worse than a falling over Christmas tree.
Nothing was said.
All right, Mr. Gladson?
Nothing.
Mr. Mills?
No.
All right. I do have an executive session here, but I don't know that it's necessary because we don't have enough people here to vote. I'm happy to go into executive session to give some informational things if the council desires it, or I can send it out via email. I don't hear anybody excited about an executive session. We'll skip that. Is there a motion?
I so moved.
All right.
If I just look at just in time for it to die in this cold weather.
It won't be gone this Thursday, Friday.
I promise it's gonna look even better in the
Wednesday, Thursday,
spring.
Friday. The week after, probably Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
He said that
Do we have to have you? And he just, can Ross just tell us how he's doing? Okay. That was on Friday.
Next Wednesday, Don.
When are you gonna, well,
Mike.
you wanna do it tomorrow? You wanna do it, you can't, you're still doing budget?
No, I'm at a conference at John A. seminar.
Okay, can't do it tomorrow.
You do it without me?
Do we need her to do it?
Huh?
Do we need her to do it?
Well, yeah, she is your director. Want to do Monday? I know Monday is a bad day, but he's going to be gone a good part of next week. You'll be back on Monday, though.
Yes.
Your season's over Saturday, Sunday.